and review some of the older videos. Uh, I thought rather than go through all of that, we can have kind of an interactive session again today. But before that, I thought I'll just wanted to give you an idea of what an Upanishad is. And I thought what better to start with than a story of a young little boy. So if you guys remember, Upanishads are kind of the last part of the Vedas. They give you the knowledge of the Atman or the self, and the Upanishads usually go in the form of a story or a question and answer session or a dialogue between two people, just like the Bhagavad Gita, where it's a dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna is asking the questions, Lord Krishna is answering. So that's usually how our scriptures are. So today's story, I wanted to talk to you about a small boy by the name Nachiketa who's about 8, maybe 9 years old. So his father, Vajashravas, he wanted to, or he decided he's going to perform a yajna. A yajna is like a fire sacrifice, and it was called Vishwajit. So it was to help uh, uh, mankind in general. But Nachiketa's father, he wasn't the most honest person when he was doing this yajna. So to give you an example of what he did, at the sacrifice, at the fire yajna, he has to actually donate his wealth. And when he was donating his wealth, he actually starts giving out cows. Cows back then were the cattle, they were the wealth for the people back then. You could use them in farms, it would give you milk. Uh, they um bore offsprings, uh, they were really revered. Or even today in India, if you go, cows are really revered. So what he was doing was he had to give these cows away as donations to whoever came, dakshina. But what he did was he picked the oldest of the cows, or the cows that could not give any more milk, or the cows that could not have any more calves. He started giving these cows away in donations. Nachiketa was 8 or 9. He did not appreciate this. He was wondering why his father was doing that. But he dared not ask him the question. Then he thought to himself, he's not the best, he's not the worst, but he's somewhere in between. So he's also his father's property, so he's also like wealth, he can be given away. So he goes and asks his father, Father, you're giving away all these cows um, for as donation. What about me? Who are you going to donate me to? Who are you going to give me away to? He asks the first time, father doesn't respond. Second time, father doesn't respond. Third time, his father gets irritated with him and tells him, I'm going to give you to Yama. Yama is god of death. Nachiketa says, okay, and he walks away from there. Then after the yajna, Nachiketa is taking leave, and his father says, where are you going? He says, you donated me to Lord Yama, so I'm going there. And his father says, no, I didn't do that. He says, yes, you have to keep your word. Now I have to go. Reluctantly, his father lets him go because he's made this promise. So now Nachiketa goes to Lord Yama's abode, to his palace. Unfortunately, Lord Yama is not there. The people over there, they want to feed him and give him water, and he refuses to have anything till he sees Lord Yama. So like this, he stays for 3 nights. Lord Yama returns, and he realizes that Nachiketa hasn't had any food for 3 nights and he's just waited for Lord Yama. And it's usually not good for the hosts when a guest, when especially a Brahmana comes, when a pious being comes, and you don't feed them. Uh, so Lord Yama offers Nachiketa 3 boons. Okay. So then Nachiketa says, okay, for my first boon, my father, he let me go, but he's anxious. Okay. I want him to be calm and collected. And when I go back to see him, I want him to, or when you send me back to him, I want you to make sure that he receives me exactly the same way before I left him and came here. So his father, so Lord Yama says, okay, no problem, done. Then he says, okay, what's your second request? Then Nachiketa says, oh, with people on earth, right? There's suffering. There's illness, there's old age, there's death, there's pain. I want, I know that in heaven they don't have all these things. They don't have to eat food. They don't have to drink water. They don't have to uh, grow old. So I want them to go to. I want a way where ordinary people can go to Swargaloka. In English, there is no equivalent translation for Swarga, but a common terminology that's used is heaven. So let's use that word now. So Nachiketa says, I want the people in on earth to be able to get to heaven. What is the way? So then Lord Yama says, okay, they have to do a fire sacrifice, a yajna, and they have to do it 3 times. And he starts explaining to Nachiketa how the sacrifice needs to be conducted. So there is a certain way, number of bricks to be taken, the way the altar needs to be set up with the bricks, the shape of the altar, the mantras that go with it, the sacrifice, the uh, people that need to be involved, um, the ingredients that go into the fire and in the puja, in the yajna. So he explains all of this in a lot of detail. And Nachiketa, he repeats all of that back to Lord Yama. Lord Yama is very pleased with him, very impressed, very pleased. And this kid who's 8 or 9 is thinking about the other people. He's thinking about his community. He's thinking about all the other people on the planet. And he's also memorized everything. He's just recited everything back to Lord Yama. So Lord Yama does 2 things. One, he gives him his own jewel-studded necklace and gives it to Nachiketa. And he also gives him another boon. He says, "Look, I'm quite pleased with you, so I'll give you another boon. This yajna from here on will be called Nachiketa Yajna, the fire sacrifice." And then your Lord Yama says, "Okay, now you ask for a third one." So here Nachiketa says, "Okay, I don't know what comes after death. Okay, where do we get permanent peace?" And Lord Yama says, "That is a difficult question. Not even the devas understand that. So my suggestion is you ask for another boon. Okay, just retract this boon and ask for anything you want." He says, "No, no, I want to know that." Say, then Lord Yama says, "Look, that is a really difficult question to answer. How about I give you a lot of wealth? I'll give you horses, I'll give you elephants, I'll give you 100 sons. They'll live for hundreds of 100 years. Why don't you have all of this?" And then Nachiketa says, "No, that is all temporary. When I die, I can't take any of that with me." He says, "No, no, you will have a really good time. I'll give you maidens, I'll give you a lot of land, I'll give you musicians, music instruments that nobody on earth has. You'll really have a good time. You'll live for 100 years, you'll have a healthy life, everything. Take that. Okay, I'm giving you things that no one on earth will get." Nachiketa says, after death, I can't do anything with it. Okay, it's a temporary thing that you're giving me. I want something that is permanent and that is lasting. So then finally, Lord Yama gives in. He still tries to persuade him, but he gives in, and then he gives him the Atma Bodha, which is the knowledge of the self. And this is kind of what we discussed in our episodes 11, 12, and so on. So, as you can see, our Upanishads give us a lot of knowledge. And Bhagavad Gita, as I've told you in the past, it is like a summary of these Upanishads. Okay, so can we go back to understand, I mean, having a discussion about what we discussed in the last few sessions? Um, a brief description of the Brahman, if you can, anyone, just a brief. I think we discussed this last week too. Anyone? Just a couple of things, whatever you think you can. Vibhu, have you had a chance to go through some of the videos?
No, sir.
Okay. What about Pranavi, Samita, Samyukta? Anyone? Nope. Okay. Tanisha? No?
Sorry. No, sorry.
Okay. All right. So, does anyone have any comment?
The entity, right? Brahman is like, and it controls
Yeah.
like what we. It's like, oh, it's like the clay. It's like the clay. Oh, we're the clay.
Yep.
What is that?
So it's permanent. It's not temporary. Yeah. It's something that's non-changing. It's something that is um, that can't be that ordinary people cannot comprehend. Okay. We had great rishis who were able to understand this, but it's not easily comprehended by anyone. It's a constant. I mean, it's the reason we all exist, but it actually doesn't do anything in itself. Yeah. Okay. Anyone want to quickly explain what karma is? Anyone? Yep. Samita.
Bad things.
Could be good or bad, isn't it?
Good or bad,
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay. So if you guys have heard,
The
uh,
apples.
yeah, apples. So if you've heard of the phrase action and reaction are equal but opposite,
Like
this it applies here. So we I think we discussed this again last time. Imagine you do something, you perform an action intentionally, it gets registered. If it's good action, it is good karma. If it is bad action, it's bad karma. Now there's infinite karma, which is sanchita karma. That basket has infinite amount of red apples and green apples. So red apples being good, green apples being bad karma. Every time you're born, a small basket is comes with you, some good, some bad, and as a result, you have vasanas, gives you tendencies to act to help you, which gives you an inclination to do something. Say, for instance, you're good at math. It's probably because of your vasanas. If you're, say, good at art, or um, you're good at drama and acting, or something else, or you just love ice cream, all of these comes from the vasanas. And then during your lifetime, you make decisions, good or bad. these, if their action does not have a reaction, then at the end it goes back into the big basket of infinite fruit. Okay, and then the cycle continues. And what's associated with the karmas? Is it the physical body or the subtle body? Anyone?
Subtle
Pardon?
body.
Subtle body.
Subtle body.
Okay. Yeah. So subtle body is made up of the mind and intellect. Okay. Now, I guess question: what dies? Is it the subtle body and the physical body, subtle body, or just the physical body?
Just the physical.
body.
Just the physical body. And the subtle body moves from one body and it gets and acquires another body in the next birth, and that's how it continues. So that's part of the karma cycle. Okay. All right. So we discussed a few things last time. Uh, I guess I just wanted to know. One second. I'll just quickly check what we did. Okay. So we discussed verses 11 through to the 15. So when Arjuna tells Lord Krishna that he's not able to fight, Lord Krishna steps up and starts giving him advice. He talks about uh, um, not, um I guess, about the consciousness or about the Brahman. Says and the statement is, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall anyone be cease to exist. So that's 12. Then in 13, he just says how uh, this the soul or our subtle body moves through our life cycle from childhood, youth, old age, and then uh, after death, it moves on to the next body. Okay. In 14 and 15, he talks about all about our temporary uh, objects in the universe. He's talking about the senses. He's talking about the seasons. We can extend that to our Earth and other things. Everything is temporary. Everything is changing. Everything is moving. You can be angry one moment. You can be sad one moment. You can be very happy another moment. So all these things are temporary. Same with seasons. Same with our position in the universe. They keep moving. Uh, and one who knows that is now on their pathway to salvation or to moksha. Okay. So I guess let's. How much time do we have? We have a few minutes. All right. So let us try and do a couple of verses here. Appreciate if you can repeat after me. So na sato
Nasato
vidyate
vidyate
bhava
bhava
na bhavo
nabhava
vidyate
vidyate
satah.
satah
Okay. Ubayo
ubayo
api
api
rishta
rishta
anta
anta
tu
tu
anayo
anayo
tattva
tattva
darshibihi.
Avinashi,
Avinashi
Avinashi,
tu
Tu,
tat
Tat,
vidhi
Vidhi,
yena
Yena,
sarvam
Sarvam,
idam
Idam,
tatam
Tatam,
vinasham
Vinasham,
avyayasya
Avyayasa,
asya
Asya,
na kaschit
Nakashit,
kartum
Kartum,
arhate.
Arhate.
Yeah. Okay, so this is verses 16 and 17. All right, what I'll do is I will transliterate it in English, which means I'll make sentence out of this. This is in Sanskrit, so if I give you the English equivalent, I want you to tell me what it means. All right, so the sentence goes this way: what is unreal doesn't exist. What is real never ceases to exist. Anyone?
Can you please
What did you
Okay, so the sentence goes like this: what is unreal doesn't exist. What is real never ceases to exist. Anyone?
Does that mean like all the like our physical bodies and all the temporary things that you mentioned, like seasons and
Yeah.
feelings, do not exist?
Yep. So what they've done is they've defined, absolutely you're on the right track. So what they've done is they've defined real and unreal. It is not exactly unreal because you and me do exist. We are not unreal, but from their definition point of view, the way they define it, we are unreal. Everything that comes and goes, everything that is constantly changing, okay, that is not real. For instance, you look at the waves in the ocean. That's not real. Why? It rises and then it dies. It's born and then it dies. Your dreams, they born, they die, but you exist. In the case of the waves rise and fall down uh, and they die, but the water in the ocean always exists. The clay figurines, you can make them, but when they disintegrate, they go back to being clay. Then you make another mold. Clay is permanent, clay is real, whereas clay figurines aren't. The same way, you and me, we are not real, and as such, we don't exist. Real is the Brahman. So that is what he's trying to explain. Okay. Any questions there? All right. So I'll explain the real a little more. Uh, how do you know that everything else is changing? So let's say, for instance, it's dark, you're in a car, a smooth road, you're drinking, you have a drink in your hand and you're sipping. Whether you're sitting in that moving car at constant speed on a smooth road, or whether you're sitting at a dining table, does it make much of a difference? You're still sipping the same way, isn't it? So you don't really feel the difference there or here, but in reality, you're moving in one, you're not in the other place, right? But just imagine you're doing the same thing and it's day. You see everything passing by and you realize you're moving. Okay. What I'm trying to get at is your underlying substratum, which is your underlying uh, awareness is real. And it is because of that you can notice all the changes. You can see that There's somebody's changed their mood. You can see that a car is moving. You can see day and night. You can see the sun moving from east to west. All of these are changes you can notice because of that underlying substratum. You are part of the system, then you can't see it. Like I said, in the car, you can't see it. But you've been taught since you are a kid that the earth rotates. But do you feel it? No. Why? Because you're part of it. You have, if you are wise, then you go past it and you realize these things. So they're trying to say you can distinguish these things. You understand that Brahman is the only reality when you get out of that system. Okay. And that is why